Welcome, my wonderful viewers. If you find the stories I share valuable, please consider hitting the subscribe button. It's completely free, but it means the world to me. Your support gives me the motivation to continue bringing more inspiring content. With just one click, you're not only helping the channel grow, but also spreading meaningful stories to more people. I am always grateful to have you accompany me on this journey. This channel wouldn't be complete without the support of amazing viewers like you. Let's create a space full of motivation together where we can learn, share, and empower each other through every story. Thank you for being part of this journey. The story of the little bird and the grain of rice. Once upon a time, a little bird accidentally dropped a grain of rice into the hollow of a big tree. It flew over and demanded that the tree return the grain. However, the tree just laughed and said, "Why should I return the grain to you? Go away." Hearing this, the bird became very angry. It flew off to find a carpenter and asked him to cut down the tree. "The tree took my grain of rice and refused to give it back. Cut it down." The carpenter was surprised by this strange request. He replied, "Cut down an entire tree just for a tiny grain of rice? That's ridiculous. I can't do that." The bird grew even angrier and flew to the king to seek justice. It told the entire story and asked the king to punish the carpenter for refusing to cut down the tree. After listening, the king shook his head and said, "You came all this way over a single grain of rice? This is such a trivial matter. I cannot order the carpenter to be punished for this." The bird felt deeply dissatisfied, but it did not give up. The next morning, it flew to the elephant keeper and said, "Tomorrow, when the king rides the elephant, make him fall off." The elephant keeper was shocked by this strange request. He asked, "Why should I do that?" The bird patiently repeated its entire story, but the elephant keeper just shook his head and said, "You're being unreasonable. I cannot harm the king just for a tiny grain of rice." The little bird grew more furious. Determined to find another way, it finally approached a tiny ant and said, "Crawl into the elephant's trunk and make it panic." The ant hesitated and asked, "Why should I do that?" Once again, the bird patiently told its entire story, but the ant refused. "I don't want to get involved. A grain of rice isn't worth the risk." But this time, the bird was no longer gentle. It stared at the ant and threatened, "You can refuse, but remember, I can pick you up with my beak and crush you instantly. So think carefully." Terrified by the threat, the ant immediately crawled into the elephant's trunk, causing it to panic. The elephant ran straight to the elephant keeper, who rushed to the king, and the king quickly summoned the carpenter. "Cut down that tree immediately," the king ordered. When the carpenter approached with an axe in hand, the tree became frightened and quickly said, "Wait, I will return the grain of rice. Just don't cut me down." Thanks to its persistence and intelligence, the little bird finally retrieved the grain of rice it thought was lost forever. Moral of the story. The story of the little bird teaches us an important lesson. No matter how small we are, we can create change if we are persistent and know how to use our intelligence. At first, the bird seemed powerless against the large tree, the skilled carpenter, the mighty king, and the giant elephant. However, instead of giving up, it cleverly turned the situation around with determination and wit. By creating a chain reaction, the bird forced everyone to take action, and ultimately reclaimed what was rightfully its own. In life, we will also face challenges that seem overwhelming. In those moments, remember that strength is not just about physical power. It comes from intelligence, perseverance, and the ability to connect with others. Sometimes the solution is not in direct confrontation, but in thinking creatively and finding the right approach. Additionally, the story reminds us that even the smallest actions, when done with determination, can create a significant impact. As long as we don't give up, we always have the ability to turn the impossible into reality. Long ago, a young man named Hiro lived in a small town. He was bright and hardworking, yet he often felt trapped in his own thoughts. Whenever he made a mistake or things didn't go as planned, he couldn't stop dwelling on them. Regret clung to him like a heavy weight, pulling him down with memories of past failures. No matter how much he achieved, true happiness always seemed out of reach. One day, while passing through a village, he overheard a conversation about a wise teacher who lived by the river. The villagers spoke of this teacher's deep wisdom and how he held the key to happiness. A flicker of hope ignited in Hero's heart. Determined to free himself from his burdens, he set out on a journey to meet the teacher. Upon reaching the riverbank, he spotted the old master sitting peacefully under a great tree, occasionally picking up small stones and dropping them into the water. The teacher's calm presence alone made Hero feel a bit lighter. Summoning his courage, Hero approached, sat down, and spoke earnestly. "Master, I have tried everything, but I can't stop thinking about my mistakes. I just want to be happy. What should I do?" The teacher silently picked up a small stone and handed it to Hero. "Throw this into the river," he instructed. Hero obeyed, watching the stone sink beneath the surface, leaving ripples that quickly faded. The teacher smiled. "Now, retrieve the stone." Hero stared at the moving water, bewildered. "That's impossible. Once it's in the river, it's gone forever." The teacher nodded knowingly. "Exactly. The past is like that stone. Once something happens, it becomes part of life's flow. No matter how hard you try, you cannot change it. Clinging to it only brings suffering. But if you learn to let go, you will feel much lighter." Hero sat in silence, realization washing over him like the river's current. For so long he had carried an invisible weight, mistakes, missed chances, and things beyond his control. Now, he understood. To be free, he had to release the stones he had been holding on to.